Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mike and Lily's channel. It's awesome to be able to share the information that I'm going to go over with you guys today. So I'm just thought I'd do a quick video just to show everyone what my typical day looks like as a full-time day trader. I'm just going to go over it briefly, show you what I do, not what you need to do. Everyone has their own journey, so you've got to remember that, you know, if this is a journey that you're going to take on, you need to take it on in a way that works for you. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lily. I'm from New Zealand, and I have been a full-time day trader for a little under 3 years. And I didn't come from a trading background. I knew nothing about trading, knew nothing about cryptocurrency, and I learned everything from scratch. I did get the help of a company by the name of iCoin Pro, who taught me everything that I know today. Okay, but I'm not here to do this video to promote anything, to promote an exchange, to promote an alert, to promote an app, or to promote a company. I'm just here to pretty much share how my trading day normally or initially starts off, and then we will go from there. Okay, so yeah, you got to remember too, you know, everyone has different lifestyles. So I'm a mum, even though I'm a full-time day trader. I still have the responsibilities around my home. So, you know, I've still got my son left yesterday to go into Auckland to work. So he pretty much said to me that he was just going to take time off for a couple of months, time off trading, and he'll pretty much work and trade when he has the time off. Another thing that I wanted to reiterate, this is mainly out to people out there, you know, just those individuals out there, or mums and dads, who think that they can't, or they think that they potentially don't fit in that criteria of becoming a day trader or even trading. You know, I was the same. So I really thought that the ideal trader was somebody who came from an accounting background, who was really good with numbers, who really was switched on. Okay, and all of those I am not. So that was one of the things that really stopped me from even pursuing this. It didn't take me long to be influenced in, you know, what it could potentially do for me. So I did take the journey on, and it's been a life-changing experience for me. So yeah, so this is really just out there for those who think that they can't adapt to understanding what trading is and what's involved in trading. Or another thing is too, people always assume that you've got to start with thousands of dollars. Okay, and you don't. I only started with $100 because that's all I could afford. Yes, it means that in the beginning it requires a little more work than someone who's starting with 10,000. But you know, it's definitely worth it, because you know, that's all I could afford to lose in case I did lose it. And I would really, really cry if I had started with 10,000 and lost majority of my balance through there. So yeah, so those are the 2 points. So you don't, if you think that you can't do this because you don't have a trading background, or you don't come from a background of accounts or good with numbers, don't ever let that barrier stop you. And 2, if you think you need thousands of dollars to start off your trading journey, again, don't let that barrier stop you. Okay, guys? So as I mentioned earlier, you know, life still goes on. Still got a family to support and look after. So, yep, doing school drop-offs. Okay, so that is also part of my day. Got to do that Monday to Friday for little mama. Hey, babe. Okay, guys, so I do school drop-offs, and I'll go back to you shortly. So as I mentioned earlier, you know, life still goes on. Still got a family to support and look after. So, yep, doing school drop-offs. Okay, so that is also part of my day. Got to do that Monday to Friday for little mama. Hey, babe. Okay, guys, so I do school drop-offs, and I'll go back to you shortly. Okay, guys, so I'm back. Got coffee number 2 and breakfast ready. So I'm just going to show you guys what I look for when I go into the chart initially. sometimes I could do this, you know, before school drop-offs, where I might have executed a couple of trades just before then. Sometimes I'll do it after school drop-offs. It really does depend on what the exchange looks like in the morning. Okay, so this is my setup. Okay, so I don't have 6 screens like you would see in on some traders' desks. Got my breakfast, my second coffee. So I'm quite simple. I don't like to have too many things. I might go two screens max. So I'll connect that to MacBook Pro, but today it's just the one screen. Okay, so I have I have 5 things open whenever I trade. So I've got Binance, which is the exchange that I trade on. I've got TradingView. So this is where I will navigate on the exchange and have all my resistance levels showing. I don't have my resistance levels shown on Binance. If I had all my resistance levels here, I wouldn't be able to see half of this stuff. So I have my resistance levels on TradingView. And I have 2 TradingView browsers open because I have one to watch the coin that I'm trading. And then I always have Bitcoin open. Okay, so I always have Bitcoin open because I like to know what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin is the coin that pretty much mimics what everything's doing on the exchange. So I have the 2 different browsers open. I have the iCoin Pro calculator. So this is where I do all my calculations whenever I'm selling a trade. And then I've got the iCoin Pro Trade Finder. Okay, so but I'm not here to promote iCoin Pro, but this is what I pretty much use. It's a tool that I use that tells me when something is dipping on the exchange or squeezing. Okay, there are other different options that you could use. So I will ideally go to the Buddycoin Crawler. So the Buddycoin Crawler is a tool that pretty much tells us what's happening on the exchange. So it does it within that 24-hour volume. I like to touch coins that are potentially 50 million and up, which is your top high volume coins. And so I will go down this list of your top 10 and look for the ones in the average low to SMA percentage. So whichever has the high percentages, ideally the coin that I'm going to monitor. But not everyone has access to these tools, so you will have to use what the exchange gives you. Okay, so I have my exchange open. I have TradingView open for the coin that I always look at, and YFI is definitely being one of my favorites. I have my calculators open, my Trade Finder open, and then I have TradingView Bitcoin open all the time. And that's how I set me up in the mornings. Okay, and that's how I have my day, or I pretty much will have these open all day long. I won't sit in front of here all day long, but that's what I will have set up all day long. So what do I initially look at when I jump onto the exchange, whether it's from bed or on the computer? And I do this continuously throughout the day. As I look and see what Bitcoin is doing. So I trade and enter all my trades on the 5-minute candles. So pretty much what that means is every movement on the exchange or on the chart is moving every 5 minutes. Okay, and you can change the different time frames. So I will look at it on the 5-minute. Okay, so it clearly shows that Bitcoin dipped in this area here. Okay, and this would have definitely been the best time to buy, and then you sell as it goes up. Obviously, that's in the past, so now Bitcoin's up in price on that 5-minute. So the way I trade, that is a risky time to enter in a trade. So the cycle for this particular dip has already completed, so now it's just time waiting for a new cycle to come out. Okay, so besides the candles, the Bollinger Bands and the SMA showing me exactly what's happening there, I've also got the MACD, which is this indicator here. The MACD is so high above the histogram, so this is the histogram here. So the MACD line is this blue line, and then you've got the signal line, which is orange, it is above the histogram. So that is an overbought section. Pretty much what that means is Bitcoin's so overbought. It means that traders have bought so much into Bitcoin and it's increased the price in it. Okay, so that's overbought. Sorry, excuse the noise in the background. Princess probably can hear someone walking past the house. Okay, so that clearly shows to me on the 5-minute, Bitcoin is so overbought. Be cautious, because in case I was to buy here, right, and to buy there, even though I know I won't, and the market starts to turn to go down, it has all of that to drop in price. So if I was to buy here or here and it dumped, my particular trade that I would have bought, which I never would, will dump and I may not recover and I will go into a loss. Okay, so that's one of the indications there. And then lastly, you've got the RSI. So the RSI, the relative strength index, is what it means. So that's pretty much telling you, or telling you and I, the price of the coin. So not the price of the coin, so it's telling you where it's ranged in price at the moment. Okay, so not only does this tell me that it's overbought, not only does this tell me that it's too high to trade just yet, so does this. So the RSI is above the RSI sub 70 line. Okay, that is what you would call the overbought section. Again, it's another sign to say everything is highly priced at this time. Wait for it to drop a little. Okay, so those are the things I would look at on the 5 minutes. So I can clearly see that on the 5 minute, there isn't a lot to consider or safe to consider trading. So that's when I then go to the 1 hour. So I will change the time frame to 1 hour because I want to see now what could potentially happen in an hour. So I'll just remove my resistance levels. So again, I'm looking for the same things. Okay, so I can see here the candles are above and have spiked that SMA. You've got to remember that the Bollinger Band and the SMA work as a resistance. So the candles will resist in that little space between the two. Okay, so it has spiked that SMA, so it's now going to resist in this price range. Okay, so that's telling me that, okay, on the 1 hour, Bitcoin has spiked the SMA, so it's potentially going to play around the price range of 15,700 and 15,217. Okay, next I'm going to look at the MACD line. So on the MACD line, yes, it's going across that histogram, but it is about to cross over to go over the signal line. So that's clearly telling me that within an hour, Bitcoin's price is going to, or Bitcoin's movement is going to cross over and go up more. Okay, again, you're looking at the RSI. It clearly shows where it's heading, and it is heading upwards. One of the things that you've got to be cautious of, though, when you're trading and looking at the MACD, okay, do not assume that it's going to cross over, okay, because there have been many times where it looks like it's going to cross over and it doesn't. So do not say, okay, yep, Bitcoin's going to cross over on the 1 hour, so I'm going to do this now or this in the next hour. Wait for it to cross, okay? It's really important because we can't prejudge what's going to happen on the exchange. We can only use what's happening in front of us to predetermine what we're going to do as we trade. Okay, so that's telling me that on the 1 hour, Bitcoin could potentially increase in price. So if I find a really good entry point on the 5 minute, I will trade it, knowing that the 1 hour is going to go up. And then you will change it to the 4 hour, and you're doing the same thing. Okay, so again, the 4 hour, the candles are above the SMA, so it's resisting in this price range. But the different thing here is the MACD lines are still in the overbought section, being over the histogram, and that MACD is below the signal. Okay, so even though this is above the SMA and it's resisting in here, because the MACD is below the signal, and it decides, okay, I want to start going down, there is so much depth below it to go down. And it could potentially mean that this candle will spike that SMA to start that new lower price range. Okay. The one thing though is the RSI is heading up in price. So again, you would consider that. So what this tells me, that if I was to trade on the 5 minute, potentially something could happen in 4 hours or within that 4 hour time frame. Why? Because this chart moves every 4 hours. Okay, like you can see here, there is still 3 hours and 48 minutes to go until a new candle is formed. So you're going to determine what you're looking at right here to say, okay, what could potentially be happening in the next 4 hours. And then lastly, you've got your 1 day. And now you're going to look and see what Bitcoin's doing on the 1 day. Bitcoin is clearly still going up. That top Bollinger Band is going up. Again, it's resisting. These candles are resisting that Bollinger Band and it's following it. That SMA is heading upwards. That MACD line is above the signal line and there is a big spread. Okay, so I look at that and think, okay, that spread is wide before it could even touch the signal line to cross over and come down. So there's still potential movement or momentum in this particular time frame, or on the 1 day time frame, for Bitcoin to continue going up. And then lastly, the RSI is slightly heading upwards anyway, so that clearly tells me that not only is this telling me it's going up, not only is this telling me that it's going up, so is the RSI. The only thing, guys, that you really want to be cautious of is that they are so overbought. So overbought. And so overbought. So you've got to be really cautious, because when Bitcoin has had enough of its time in the overbought sections, it will easily say, okay, I'm done. I'm going to turn around and go down. And if you were to buy as it was in the overbought section and it dumps, your trade may not recover and you may lose a trade. Okay, so that is what I look for on a day-to-day basis. But let's just go back to this 5 minute and I'll show you potentially what I like to look for when I'm trading. So for those in iCoin Pro, we know we follow a trading strategy called buy the dip. And here it clearly shows that, you know, there was 1 dip, 2 dips. So 1 dip, 2 dips, 3 dips. And we like to wait for a 3rd dip. And then, you know, a volume increase, and pretty much you would have made some nice profit there, and it just kept going and going. Okay, and that is something that I do. I trade this particular way on a day-to-day basis, one of the different strategies that I trade. And that's why when people ask me, you know, how do you do it? How do you do it without losing in a trade? I follow this. I wait until it's hit rock bottom. I wait for a flatten out of the lower Bollinger Band, the SMA, and then that volume increase. And then that's where I will say, okay, yes, I'm ready to trade it. And then I'll go in and make some money. Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful. You know, be sure to subscribe to our channel or like this video. If you've got any questions, just put them in the comments. We'll be really happy, more than happy to help anyone out. Okay, take care. Stay blessed. Bye.